We're going to talk a little bit about bidding season as it is. Here we are, right? I mean, a lot of us are rocking and rolling now. And for those that aren't, getting ready to kick off and get started. And it's that time of the year again. But we're going to talk about bidding season. We're going to talk about Craig down in Charlotte, North Carolina, sent me a text this morning that I was going to share with you guys a little bit. That was good morning, Doug. Appreciate you listening, man, in Pennsylvania as well. But Craig had an interesting situation this morning that we're going to talk a little bit about, and heck, from there, you guys know how it goes. It's just based on input, and I've got several notes here, things to talk about that I want to cover a little bit about bidding jobs or why not bid a job. Corey, hope you have a great day, my friend. Appreciate you tuning in. And yeah, Corey, man, we got everybody chiming in this morning. Man, we got a cool day here at Louisville, Kentucky, here at our Earth's Up Radio studios. We started out the morning about 32 degrees, I'd say, and warming up. I think we're supposed to hit the 50s, mid 50s today. So that's going to be Greg. Correct. I was reading the text that came in. That's thanks, Katie. Oh my God, it's going to warm up, but Craig's in there with us too. So heck yeah, man, we got a good one. So let's see. Dang, Mike. Mike says definitely a little bit chilly down there where he's at, Southern Kentucky. Yeah, absolutely, man. So let's see. Craig says the good news is he's interviewing a couple good candidates this week. It is hiring season as well. Absolutely. So, I mean, we got a lot of things going on. If you had one chance, one opportunity, you're going to take it, you're going to let it slip away. And I think most of us are going to take it, but we've got a lot of things to talk about today. Sounds like we're going to have some good interaction. Aaron, appreciate you listening, my friend. Absolutely. So, Aaron had a great show this morning as well. So, he had Massey Ferguson on. So, but before we get to all that, just want to check in on you guys. And first of all, say happy St. Patrick's Day. For those of you that don't know, my name is Patrick Wayne. So I just go by my middle name, which I know is a little bit unusual, but I do go by my middle name. My mom's name was Patricia. So they didn't want to have like Big Pat, Little Pat kind of thing. So that's how I end up going by my middle name versus my first name, like most people do. So happy St. Patrick's Day to anybody out there with Patrick in their name. And also happy St. Patrick's Day just to everybody in general. March 17th, the big tradition. So happy St. Patrick's Day. Don't drink too much green anything. I can honestly say I've never had a green beer. I mean, I'm to each their own on what you like to drink, and I like a little libation, some, and the reality of it is, I don't think I've ever had a green beer. Mike said his middle name's Patrick, Michael Patrick. Yay, Mike. So look, I knew there was a bunch of you guys out there. So, anyways, maybe that's why we think so much like Mike. The reality of it. I'm going to grab my water right here real quick, and we'll do a yes, indeedy. So, well, good deal. Sounds like we're off to a good start. Cool here. We actually started round 2 today. Round 2 in our application system. And I'm just curious with you guys, where are you at in your rounds? For you guys who are doing fertilization weed control applications, where are you at? This is the earliest we've ever been engaged in our second round in 46 years. I did want to share that with you guys too. So we're doing something different this year. I mean, we've progressively seen, broadleaf weed problems earlier and earlier. And, we've talked about it on previous shows where, the reality of it is that we've went from a 4-round system back in the early 80s when we started treating lawns. I'm trying to think when it was, golly. I don't know, somewhere in the mid 80s, I guess, 1980 through 4, 5, somewhere in there. But I'd have to look and see. But we actually started our business in 1979, and we were a little slow on the uptake on getting other things started. But yeah, so we've went from 4 to 8 applications, and now we're even earlier. Like I said, this is the earliest, March 17th, that we've ever been on round 2. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, and the funny part about it, if you will, I don't know if it's really funny or not, but we actually had last Friday, we had a person, one of our existing clients, call and say, "Hey, when are you guys going to start with your broadleaf weed control? I've got some weeds going on in my yard." So it made us feel real good about the choice that we've made for this year on starting a little earlier. We really didn't start our pre-emergent too much earlier. We just threw more resources at getting it down so we could get to spraying our herbicide faster. So that's one goal that we've accomplished already. And, we talk about goals a lot here on the show, and the need to have goals in place for your company and make those goals to where they're targeted as well as achievable. And sometimes you got to redirect, and we're not going to get into that today. We don't have enough time to talk about that and goal setting and achieving goals and that whole thing. But the reality of it is, one of the things we wanted to do this year was start earlier, get round 1 finished earlier, and start round 2 earlier than we ever had. And so we're about 2 weeks ahead of what would be normal for us on broadleaf weed control. And it doesn't sound like a big deal. You think, well, man, that's only 14 days. But, in 14 days, we'll be 20% through our round, 25% through our round. So weather permitting, I mean, you guys know how that goes, but that's somewhere where we'll be sitting 20-25% into our round 2, and putting fires out as necessary, as we call it. And that's our existing customer base. So that's not counting new people that we're going to put on, and because we'll still start people in round 1 now. You guys that are doing fert and weed, I mean, I don't know how you all do it, but we'll put people into round 1 probably for another 3 weeks, to where we can get their round 1 done and then come back in a couple of weeks, get them round 2, get them caught back up to where they're at for their area and, where we're spraying certain zip codes. But because, we want to get that full amount of pre-emergent down. Absolutely. And, we'll switch to what we need to switch to do what's right for our customers when we do put them on a little later into our round. So just because we've crossed over a round, when we're looking at rounds 1 and 2, because of the pre-emergent and broadleaf weed control that we're trying to get accomplished, and then later on into the season, we'll do the same thing. If we're at the end of, say, round 4, and somebody's got a really big weed problem, we'll put them in, round 4 and hit them back on round 5 with like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whenever they actually roll back around into that service cycle. So just wanted to share that with you guys. We're not turning this into a fertilization and weed control show today, but I did want to touch on that and share that with you guys, that we're very goal oriented here at WLS and Profits Unlimited. You guys know how it works, and I share our goods and our bads with you guys, and that was something that we were proud of. That one of the goals that we actually hit, and we actually hit. It's like we don't normally hit goals, but sometimes we don't, and sometimes we have to change what we're going to do to accomplish the goals we want. So, with that being said, had a lot of severe weather over the weekend. Hopefully, nobody listening to us was directly affected. But the reality of it is there was a whole lot of people that had bad situation, over the weekend with some severe weather. And I saw a lot of it on social media, a lot of the lawn and landscape forums and whatnot. So I want to give a shout out and prayers to anybody that needs that. If you were involved in some severe weather and had damage, specifically starting with you, and then any, of course, down the line from there, anybody your customers or whatnot. And I know Dan out in the St. Louis area had talked about, they had some pretty rough weather roll through there, and he had some pictures. So um, we had hail here. I mean, I got some videos of some hail, and not me directly, but within city limits right here in Louisville, we had some golf ball size hail. So I know there are some people that had some damage, to roofs probably, and certainly their cars. And actually, my sister, who's not too far from here, she's actually in southern Indiana, had a little bit of hail damage to her car. So um, again, the whole point is to give you guys a shout out. And I know that's, severe weather events are we know they're coming every year. Our buddies at BAM Weather, Matt and those guys, Brett and Michael and their whole team, they're very, very, very good about keeping us updated about what's coming, when it's coming, and that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, it's not something you know you can change, and so it's just a matter of dealing with it. And, how you gonna handle your cleanup. So I know I saw one fellow that I know that listens to us here on Turfs Up a little bit. Mark was talking about his customers only generally go for like one cleanup, and not just from a spring type cleanup. So I think the double edged sword here that some guys are running into is, their customers they want one cleanup, one spring cleanup, if you will. Because my response to him initially was, well, it's ongoing revenue, and he's like, yeah, but some of the customers just want one spring cleanup. And I guess that goes back to a couple different things. I understand that 100%. That's first and foremost, but also, excuse me, also it gets into how your service contracts are written. Do you have specifically storms excluded from your service contract and from your cleanup? We do, because and we learned that the hard way back in the mid '80s, early '90s, when we thought when we thought we had things written pretty well and getting more of a business model in place, and putting more things in as policy and procedures from an administrative standpoint with our customers. But then we went through a summer, man. We're like every day at 2 o'clock. Just seemed like you could set your clock by it. We were having storm events, and that was in the summer. And I mean I know that's normal here for our market to have some of that, but it became problematic when our customers were like, "Well, y'all going to clean our branches up before you mow?" And most of it was not a problem with customers willing to pay more, but some people said, well, it says in your contract you're going to provide service, to our lawn. So it wasn't clear and concise. And we're not going to get into contracts today, but the reality of it was not clear and concise that our regular service did not include a cleanup after a storm. And I'm not talking about getting hit by a tornado, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Summertime storms where, hell, 5 miles away, they might have nothing, right? But some of your customers have got quite a few small branches and debris down that need to be picked up, cleaned up before you mow. Now, I know some of you guys just say, well, we'll move just mow over the top of it. But, I mean, we're not going to do that. Come on, man. We're better than that. We're more professional than that. But it gives you an opportunity to make some more money. And that it doesn't matter if you're a small company or a large company. If you want to be stupid about it like I was, and I'll be the first one to reach out there and say that, for a long time, I thought, and now I'm talking back in our 2 truck stage. Okay. Um, we would pick stuff up for people at no additional charge. It was part of the service. It was customer, what do you call it? Customer, appreciation, customer relationships, customer loyalty building programs, all these reasons that we gave ourselves that it was okay to spend another 15, 20, 30 minutes doing something for somebody for no charge. And what I can tell you is the difference between then and now, I've got none of those customers left. So yeah, it maintained the loyalty or built that relationship or whatever you want to fill in the blank with for a brief period, maybe. And it was part of the loyalty for a given amount of time. But it wasn't ultimately the save all cycle of, well, this customer's going to be loyal. Matter of fact, we got a Dear John call this morning from a customer that told us, they had called us yesterday, and I'm sure they knew we weren't in the office on Sunday, but or I would feel pretty confident about that. But regardless, it doesn't matter. And maybe they really didn't want to talk to us. I just thought of that side of it. Maybe that was it, Daniel. Okay. Maybe they didn't want to physically talk to us and tell us to our face that, hey, you guys are doing a great job, but, and that's where I talk about customers being a temporary stop, and so it's up to you. And this perfectly relates to storm cleanup or, a lot of different things that we think, well, I'll just go ahead and do it. It's going to create more loyalty. And this is somebody that we've had for a customer for, a few years, and came in as a referral to us when the person initially came on board with us. But at the end of the day, with the phone call was, hey, you're doing a good job. You guys gave us great service. You're doing a good job, but we've went with somebody different. Okay. And if it doesn't work out, and this goes back to what we talk about too, customers not knowing what you do, because the way she ended her conversation was, they're going to do some landscaping work for us. And this happened to be a fertilization and weed control program client. And we have a lot of people that's all we do for them is their fertilization and weed control, or maybe some mulching or leaf cleanup, things like that. But it's not a reoccurring weekly service like some of the other services we offer. But they're like, we didn't realize, we wanted to work with one company that provides full service. And I'm like, for God's sakes, we are a full service company. You don't get much more full service than we are for a client. Because if we don't do it, like we tell people, and literally, we just talked about this a few days ago, I think, but or a week ago, not too long ago, that the reality of your customers not knowing, what you do and what you don't do. So let's see what that text was coming from Craig. Let me sign in here. How do you deal with the customers who are expecting you to do the storm cleanup work for free? We still have people who want work for free or who threaten to cancel. Exactly, Craig. And that's just what I was talking about. We implemented it into our service contract. It's just a single line item when we're talking about the service that we provide for somebody, that this does not include a cleanup after a storm. And so it's specifically written in because that's the same problem we were having with customers, is they thought that should be part of their regular service. Let's see, you mentioning clients not knowing you're a one-stop shop. That's why we'll be changing our company name later this year to have landscaping in our name, not just lawn company. That is exactly, Craig, we rebranded around here maybe 15, 20 years ago. I'm not sure how long it's been now, but we were Wayne's Lawn Service for a long time. And I know you guys can't see me I got one of our hoodies on right now, but we rebranded to WLS, Landscaping and Hardscaping, is what's on our trucks now. Because we people were having that problem of thinking, well, they just do lawn service work. They're just mowing contractor, or maybe they're mowing and spraying. They don't do landscaping. So I think that's a good idea that you rebrand your name, and something we can talk about later, certainly talk about in a profit circle, Craig. I know you're in there with us. That's a really good topic. It's a really good topic to talk about is, because we all generally start with something with our name in it. Wayne's Lawn Service, Larry's Lawn Service, Susie's Lawn Service, but we don't think about the long-term scalability of our company and what that might mean as far as what you do, what you don't do, but I can tell you this, 20 years later, and I'm throwing a dart right now because I really don't remember, but let's just say it was 20 years ago. It's been at least that probably. Because that was actually Kyle's idea here when he came on board with us, and Kyle just turned 38. So, yeah, it was about 20 years ago probably when, he's like, our name says lawn service. People aren't going to think of us for landscaping or hardscaping or, all these other services that we have diversified into. Well, because when I started, it was fine to be just lawn and landscaping, and because that's what was on everything. But we needed to get away from, because what people see is lawn service. That's what they see. I can tell you that is what people see. When you've got Wayne's Lawn and whatever comes after that, they see lawn service. That's what they see. Or that's what we found they see. And, we even went to the extent of asking people when we used to do quite a few trade shows. We would even ask people at those trade shows, what do you think about when you hear Wayne's Lawn Service? What do we do? Well, y'all probably mow grass. Y'all probably mow grass. Do you treat lawns? It was those two things that people thought about. Now you think you throw landscaping. That's funny. Aaron just sent me that exact text. My God, great minds think alike. Now, here's something to think about too. And Aaron, I'm not picking on you too, but you got to be careful about how much you put on your truck. Because we've seen trucks, and you've seen them in your market, and I've seen them all over the country in different states, in Canada too, where guys have got individual services that they offer on their truck. We provide mowing, landscape, debris removal, lighting, taking your dog for a walk, and they had 73 things listed on the side of their truck, which is really cool. But then it's like, okay, it's too busy. People aren't seeing all that. They're not remembering all that. You got to it goes back to that marketing thing, and we're not going to get into the marketing side of it today, but the limited number of seconds you have when somebody sees your name to try to take it in and remember it. And that's why ongoing is so important, but you got to be careful not to overload your truck or your shirts or whatever it is with too many things, because then people aren't reading a grocery list. That's the other side of it. Keep it clean, nice logo on it, and I'm not saying ours is the only way to do it right, but we got 46 years of experience on trying to figure things out. And we found that just a simple logo, our trucks simply have our logo. And again, y'all can't see our logo, but it's strictly WLS and our phone number on it, and landscaping and hardscaping on the side. Now that's because we're trying to be full service mindset with people that see our truck. Now, if you're predominantly mowing if you just want to be a mowing contractor and that's all you do, or if you are a 100% fertilization weed control business, then gear your marketing and your trucks that away. Mowing at its finest, lawn applications, whatever. But regardless of what you choose, this is very, very important. Regardless of what you choose, keep it simple. The truck needs to be simple. It needs to be something easy to see. Good deal, Doug. Good deal. Doug just said he got his core test back and he passed. Yay. Good deal, man. He also said keep the truck clean and just a nice logo. Absolutely. I can't speak enough on image and how your image reflects the income you should expect. That's the reality of it. See how I knew we'd get into a million topics today. You guys are awesome. But that's the reality of it too. We got to keep things simple. And especially when it comes to your name on your truck, don't make it look like a billboard per se. Make it look like a billboard, but keep it a simple billboard. Not with 27 things that you do on it. That's just my opinion. I mean, ask the person that does your marketing for you, what they think about it. I mean, that's the reality side of that. But there's a lot of different ways that you can logo your truck up or logo your shirts up. But at the end of the day, keep it simple. And that's what people will remember. Keep it simple. And know that you're still going to have trouble with, like we did this morning, the phone call that rolls in here. It says, well, I wanted a full service company. And we make a concentrated effort. I mean, Katie spends 50% of her time doing marketing for us, or 60% of her time doing marketing for us. And every time I say that, I think it's a higher percentage. What would you say, Katie? A lot. Yeah, at least 50% of her time is marketing. And part of our marketing includes non-solicitation work going to our existing customer base, letting them know what we do in one way or another. And so we make a concentrated effort to let our customers know that about everything we do. And I'm not going to sit here and go through them all, but I mean, we're pretty diversified. I mean, from landscape lighting to holiday lighting to landscape installation. I mean, to landscape, drawing a landscape out for somebody. I'm trying to think what the hell the big word for that is. Landscape design. Thanks, Daniel. But to mowing, to fertin weed, to, aeration, seeding, the list goes on and on and on and on us being a full service company. And if we don't do it, we've generally got contractors that work with us that do it. And I'm a big believer in that, quite honestly, because the last thing I want my customers doing is getting in the phone book and looking up somebody to do something for them. We, during our sell process of talking to somebody, and then also our retargeting that Katie does for us, we try to remind them that, hey, these are the services we provide. And if you need anything done, let us know. And even if it's outside the scope of work of what we do, we want that person to help us. Or reach out to us so we can help them is the reality side of that, So I think that's something we all need to think a little bit more is what are we doing to try to reach out and touch somebody to help them understand that, even if you don't do it, what do you do? Because I'd be willing to bet that most all you guys listening to us have had that situation come up that happened with us this morning. So, and if you haven't, you probably haven't been in business long enough. That's the reality of that. So with that being said, let's take a short break and we'll be right back with more Profit Time here on Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station. Don't you go anywhere. Welcome back. Welcome back to Profit Time here on Turfs Up Radio. Hey, want to let you guys know we're doing something new and exciting. And it actually started with this show today, actually. Um, you're going to be able to watch our Profit Time shows on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. So if you're not on our YouTube channel with us, let us know. Um, Daniel's going to get those up there for us as well. So check us out. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. As always, it'd still be podcast and record it right here on Turfs Up Radio as well. But yeah, check us out on YouTube. And that's a new and exciting, we just try to keep it new and up to date and doing different things, just like you try to do with your business. And so that's something new that we're doing. So share Profits Unlimited, our show here on Turfs Up Radio, with your friends and your colleagues. And let's all just help make the industry be better. Thanks, Craig. I appreciate you subscribing. Appreciate that. So looking forward to that. And we'll certainly try to keep everything rocking and rolling and fresh and update, just like we do within the Profit Circle. Speaking of the Profit Circle, for you guys that are new listening to us, check us out. It's a really a great group. It really is a business circle of like-minded professionals. Easy to find. Just simply go to our website at Profits Are Us. That's profitsareus.com. And as soon as you get on the homepage, there's a link right there. You can join, try it for free. It's very, very, very affordable. It's like $19.99 a month, and you're within a group of peers that are very professional, like-minded people with one goal in mind, and that's to be more successful and be more professional and be more profitable within their businesses. And we've got businesses in there from one truck operations to multi-million-dollar companies. So, yeah, check it out. Join. You can join for free, and check it out. And you got 100% access to everything in there. It's not like, well, if I join, and what I get to see? Well, you get to see everything that we've got in there the last few years. So that's what you get. There's constantly more content coming monthly. I mean, we have monthly Zoom meetings, monthly webinars, Q&As. You can go in and ask any question about that you want answered. We actually do a video to it. So I enjoy doing the video. So keep those Q&As coming, guys. And then certainly keep listening to us here on Turfs Up Radio as well. So let's see, catch up on these texts you guys have sent me. Is the show live on YouTube? No, it is not. So that Daniel says that might be down the road, but currently we're rolling it out this way. So great question. And that's how quick we give you answers, not just here on Turfs Up Radio, but also in the Profit Circle as well. So be sure to check that out. So looking forward to having you guys there with us. Mike said, Mike made a really good comment. Doug, I got a comment here I want to read with Doug too, real quick. Doug said, keep your truck clean, and just a simple, nice logo, man. And that's it. Keep that truck clean. That is your image, to say to the least. Mike said for him, it's a clean truck, a logo, and a phone number. If a potential customer sees us going down the road, pulling a mowers and trailers, I think, hey, maybe they mow grass, and if they're not sure what we do, then, maybe they're not probably not our ideal client, LOL. So I get it. That makes sense too. So, as you're pulling this different equipment around, people see different things you're doing. And, it's not up to us to assume that they know everything we do. It's up to us as the business owner to put everything out there for them. That's the reality of it. Mike made a really good point. It's more about getting into neighborhoods and being seen is what they want. And that goes to the importance of making sure, same thing Doug brought up, to keep your truck clean. And I think that is a very big part of what we can do excuse me, to help with our image is to certainly understand that keep your equipment clean, keep yourself clean, have a nice, uniform shirt on, have a nice pair of pants on, make sure your shoes or boots are respectable, just look professional, act professional. And guess what? You'll be treated professionally. So if you're looking professional and you're acting professional and you get treated professionally, you're going to get paid professionally. That's the foundation. That, my friends, is the foundation of it. So, and speaking of professionalism and caring about your job, I swear I got a picture of it. I know you guys can't see it, but I got a picture of it. I'll spin it around here for later for the Zoom aspect of this and the YouTube side of this. But if y'all could see this now, you'd laugh like I did Saturday morning. I was going through a drive-through at McDonald's to get an iced coffee, and I look at this thing, and it's funny, but it's not funny. They got two signs side by side in the window, and one of them is put up backwards in the window. Now, I know there's lots of answers to that. Hey, well, maybe they wanted to see one side inside and one side outside. I don't believe that for 5 seconds. I believe the person that put it up, when they put it up and realized it wasn't right, said to heck with it. They didn't care enough to switch it. And that's what I want you to look at yourself and ask yourself. And I really don't believe any of our listeners would do it. I had to think about it, because I know a couple guys that might leave it, quite honestly. But I mean, we're working on that. We're working on that. They're not regular listeners to us here on Turfs Up Radio, but there are people out there, obviously, that do it. And something else is the line of sight things. Since we're talking on trucks, and we have completely got not off target, but I just didn't get to go where I wanted to go. But right now, but it's important, since you guys brought up the truck and the keeping it clean and keeping it simple, the logo simple. Make sure that things are straight on your truck. What I mean by straight is not the organization of your truck and trailer. That's important too, but the lines on your truck. If you've got lighting listed or mowing listed or landscaping listed, or if you've got a thesis on the side of your truck, at this point, my point is make sure that it's straight. It's in a straight line. If you want to try to make something like that a do-it-yourself thing, that's fine, but don't accept the fact that your text is running uphill or downhill. Make sure that it's even on your truck, because more people will see your truck than any other form of advertising you will ever do. Just believe it. I mean, just it is what it is. Because when you look at budgets that most of us are spending, and I know some of us are spending more than others, but regardless of what the budget generally is, when you're in a service-related business and you got trucks out on the road, whether it's landscaping trucks or pest control trucks or fert and weed trucks, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. More people are going to see that truck than anything else you do, any other solicitation you make. Make sure it looks professional. Just that simple. Make sure it looks professional. And, bidding season is here, but before we talk about bidding season, I want to talk about something that Craig sent me this morning, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind me touching base on it, and we'll certainly touch base on it in the Profit Circle as well, but in a little more in depth. But Craig had somebody reach out to him for a job, and this is not just the Charlotte market, I can tell you that. It happens everywhere where people just sometimes are less than professional that reach out to us looking for employment. But Craig just asked my opinion. Thanks, Craig. I appreciate that. He just asked my opinion on, what I thought about this. It was more of, can you believe this happened kind of thing, where this guy was an hour or so away from where they were at, where they'd be working from, a meeting in the morning. And Craig said, hey, man, I just think you're too far out to make this make sense for you commute. And I mean, what this guy didn't understand or doesn't understand is the reality that Craig was really just trying to do him a favor as well as Craig's business a favor. He was trying to think about the best interest of both people involved, that, you got rain an hour away or an hour and a half away, and this guy's thinking, well, it's raining today. Should I go to work or not? Do I want to drive an hour and not have any, and not have any work to do? Then then I got to drive back home, and that's a lot of gas time and effort, and potentially nothing there. So that's something to think about. Or vice versa, change the situation. It's sunny an hour and a half away. And yeah, certainly will. Uh, yes, indeed. Let's see here. Give me just seconds. Yeah. Let's see. Give me a minute. Ta-da. Got a text from a fella here, one of our subcontractors. Super nice guy. Super nice guy. Yes, it will, Rocky. But, Craig ran into a situation where this guy wasn't happy with Craig's response, said, hey, basically, you're too far away, and I don't think this is going to work for both of us. And this guy sends him a text back, and I'll read it to you because Craig said I could share it. I'll be reaching out to the labor office and a lawyer. That's discriminating. I have money for gas, and I am up early before you ever wake up, but okay, thanks. I mean, come on. This guy's going to get an attorney. Now, I'm not an attorney, so I don't know if that was the wrong answer to give the guy that Craig gave him, that basically, hey, I don't think this is feasible for either one of us. Too many chances for traffic delays. Craig gave him a nice answer. Too many chances for traffic delays in situations that end up costing time and money. Best of luck in your job search. That was pretty kind. And the reality of it, in my 46 years of experience, says Craig's just being honest with this guy, that this is going to be problematic before it gets better because of the travel time involved. Because then he's going to be pissed. He's going to, well, God, man, I got halfway to work and you texted me and told me not to come. And, this, that, and, the reality, the reality of it is it's just Craig was being a good guy and got called out for being the bad guy, And let's see, Craig says the guy would be driving on 2 interstates plus multiple other main roads. One wreck means he's late, another 30 to 60 minutes. Oh, Lord. He said the long commute guys last 2 weeks at tops in his experience. That's just it. I mean, it sounds okay, but it's not going to be okay, is the bottom line to it. Let's see. Seth says, I had the same issue as Craig, and this guy, we're only 15 minutes apart. Yeah, I mean, I think he was really doing this guy an outstanding favor. This guy didn't want to hear it that way. So Craig sent me a text after this one and said, that he basically responded to the guy and said, here's the Department of Labor's number, and I think that's the thing, and I think what Craig probably learned in this situation, rather than telling the guy the truth, and I'm not saying lie to anybody by any stretch of the imagination, but maybe next time somebody's an hour and a half away, maybe you make it a policy within your company, and there you go. Now it's in writing, right? That you're not going to hire anybody that has that type of commute. or maybe you give him a different reason on why that you're not, rather than trying to be one. To me, it's 100% honest answer to the guy, but he didn't want honesty, So we just try to do the right thing sometimes, and people just don't want to hear, the right thing coming from us, So, no, Mike, I'm not going to hire you and let you drive from Bowling Green every day. I mean, but hey, being that it's you, I would probably trust that you would make it. But then just think how early you'd have to get off work to get back home. There's so many scenarios that encompass that the reality of it is it's not going to be anything other than problematic. And Craig was doing the guy a favor. He just didn't want to hear it. That is the reality of it. So, oh, Craig, good luck, man. And Craig did say on a good side of things, the reality of it is he's got a couple good people that he's going to, be talking to. So, we do have you guys that are in Profit Circle with us. I want to give you a shout out. I'm sure you got the email from Daniel by now that our monthly webinar is going to be next Monday at 7 p.m. So just wanted to give that a shout out. Excuse me, as well. Let's see. Doug says, I have an issue with one guy. He moved and lost his morning ride. He's upset I won't send someone to pick him up. That's another thing, man, and we have had that conversation about picking people up. That is the worst and the dumbest thing you will ever do, and you mark that down in your book. It's one of the things I don't tell you very often that something's not a dumb thing to do, because I think there's lots of things that can be done more than one way. But again, in my 46 years of experience, 45 years of experience. This is our 46 years, so we don't have 46 years of experience. In my 45 years of experience, I can tell you that that has never, ever worked out long term. It'll work out for a day or two or a week or a little while, and then it becomes problematic. To Doug's point, now the guy's mad because he doesn't want to send somebody to pick him up, and the guy doesn't have a driver's license currently. Why do they always want to get mad at us? Why do they want to get mad at you, the owner? Why do they want to get mad at me? I mean, it don't, because we're the easy one to get mad at. Maybe if you wouldn't have done whatever it was you did to lose your driver's license, and if maybe you'd worked enough hours and went to work on a regular basis to own a vehicle, guess what you could do? You could come to work. But because you're a dumbass and did stupid things and lost your license and don't have a job, it's my fault because I won't come pick you up. Now, I know that sounds hardcore, and that is Wayne 2025. Wayne prior to 2020, or maybe even maybe 2000, I don't know, 1998, 97, 95, I don't know. The old Wayne, let's put it that way. The going backwards in time Wayne would have tried to figure that out for somebody. I know I've confused the shit out of myself trying to explain it. But my point is, years ago, I would have tried to figure something out like this for somebody. Now, if they can't get the work, I'm calloused today at WLS. I'm going to tell y'all something that happened, and it's going to sound like, damn, Wayne, that's a hard ass. No, it wasn't a hard ass. It's the reality of running a business. Guy was supposed to come back today for his first day. We really didn't need him, but he just kept calling about coming back. So we was going to give him a few hours today, or not a few hours. He's going to work today and tomorrow, But he called me this morning. He says, Wayne, you ain't going to believe this. My cousin shot herself. I just said, okay. Does that mean you're not coming to work? Yeah, man, I'll be there tomorrow. So if you're so distraught that you can't come to work today, but you can come to work tomorrow, I don't believe that. I mean, history, again, dealing with all the excuses we deal with over the years, yes, I am really sorry that somebody shot themselves. I'm really sorry that his cousin shot himself. I swear to gosh, I'm really sorry for that. But I don't care at the same time, if that makes sense. It's not that I don't care. It's just regardless of what his personal life situation is, guess what's got to happen at Wayne's Lawn Service today? Wayne's Lawn Service has to organize their crews, has to organize their people, and has to go out and get the work done. So my job at that point was to, okay, he's not going to be here. What are we going to do? And who are we going to do it with? So here's what I'm saying to you guys, and I know that sounds a whole lot, that sounds really calloused, and maybe it is. I'm sorry that the person did what they did. But at the end of the day, I got to move forward. You got to move forward with your business. Because there's going to be excuses and there's going to be reasons, and some of them may be legitimate and some of them may not. But at the end of the day, what you got to do is move along with your business. Now, that kind of goes from the extreme of giving a guy a ride to work, and then a guy that's supposed to report to work calls in and says, somebody shot themselves. I'm not going to be there today, but I'll be there bright and early tomorrow. Well, it didn't sound like it was really too distraught. Say, well, man, I'll be there bright and early tomorrow. You know, you got to make the decision. How much are you going to put up with? How much are you going to listen to? And at what point do you stop being the counselor? What point do you stop being the enabler for somebody? You know, and again, it sounds like I'm being very calloused, and I probably am being a little bit. But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is that you move along with your business. Because who's counting on it? You're counting on it. Your families are counting on it. Your business success is counting on it. Your other employees are counting on it. So if somebody needs a ride to work occasionally, give them a ride to work. But if somebody needs a ride to work every day for the next 10 years because they lost their license, because they had 17 DUIs or 3 DUIs or drug charge or whatever, for whatever reason they lost their license, that's not your problem to fix. They need to fix that problem. You know, and Fred makes a really good point here, and he's got plenty of experience. He says, what stinks is the bad ones have ruined the opportunity for the guy that may be worth going out of the way for. And that is the absolute truth as well. Because the mindset, and that falls perfectly into the mindset of what I used to have of saying, yeah, I'll pick you up. Because I thought that would, hey, I'm going to help a dude out. You know, hey, I'll pick you up. I'll get you to work. Don't mind, you know. It all works good. The reality of it all is going to work out okay. But history says that it don't, and it's not. So that's where it becomes a personal decision for you is if you are going to do that for somebody, and I'm not telling you not to do it, I'm just saying it's never really worked out long term for us doing that. And when I stopped doing it for people, when I was running that truck, at first you think, oh man, this is going to be pretty cool, man. I'm going to get him. I know he's going to be at work. He's going to work till we get done, you know. Well, then the reality of it is, well, hey man, I need to get off. I need to go take my dog to the vet. I got plans with my girlfriend tonight. We're going to go to the park and take a walk. Thought you had a job. Thought you had a job. I'm not saying you can't, but I don't think normal working hours, 7-hour day, an 8-hour day, whatever your normal working hours are, 10-hour day, whatever it is, they know what it was when they signed on board. But Fred makes a very good point. The bad ones have ruined it for the good ones that it may work out for. So let me rephrase it and say, I've not had it work out long term with anybody, but I'd be happy to help anybody short term with it. Hey man, my car's in the shop, or we had an accident. We're down to one car. Can you help me for a little bit? Absolutely. I guarantee you, one of our guys, hell, Matt here brought a guy to work for what, a year? And then that same guy didn't have the courtesy to tell Matt he wasn't coming back to work after he picked him up for a year and then didn't charge the guy. That's the mindset that we're working with. That's the mindset that we're working with. So you decide what works best for you. Doug says, or he calls in sick 2 times a week. Hasn't worked 40 hours since the day he started. Yeah. That goes back, Doug, and I know we're up on it and we're actually over our time now, but the reality of it is this. How many times haven't you guys heard, I need more money? I need more money. If you don't implement anything different this year into your business, and surely to God you will, hopefully we give you a few more ideas than this, but if you don't implement anything this year, for the person that walks into your office, or you're driving down the road, if you're a 1 or 2 truck operation and you're out in production as the owner every day, that's okay. And when that helper looks over at you and says, man, I need more money, I want you to look directly back at them. And if they're not consistently there every day and getting the maximum number of hours possible, before you say, okay, yeah, we can do that, tell them, why don't you try a full week? Why don't you try a full week? Because if you were getting the same amount of hours that are available as the other people that are working here, guess what you're going to be able to do? You're going to be able to pay your bills. You're going to be able to have more money. But what I'm not going to do, and again, Wayne was bad at doing this. I thought Wayne thought that if I paid people more money, that would make them better employees. And that's the worst thing you'll ever think for your business. Trust me. Money does not make anybody care. It does short term. But again, what are we looking for? We're looking for long-term solutions. And what do we need to implement to solve short-term problems? And that's a long-term solution. And sometimes that really just boils down to telling somebody, no, we can't pick you up any longer, because you're not trying to help yourself. Because as business owners, what do? We become enablers. We enable their problem to continue because we're scared that, God, they're not going to come to work. They're not going to come to work. They're not going to come to work. Well, what are you doing to change the culture around your company to get somebody different and better? That's what we got to think about. And that's what I want you to ask yourself. Because we are not only in bidding season, and we didn't get into any of that today, we're also in hiring season for some of you guys. I understand that. So what I want you guys to think about then is, since we are, trying to do that, let's see. Yeah, there we go. Are you going to try to change the situation for yourself? What are you trying to do? I'm in a silent mode, Daniel. All of a sudden, somehow, can you see if you can figure that out for me? I don't know what I did or what I pushed or what happened. But anyways, everything seems to be functioning all right. But regardless, we're going to wrap this up for today. And we're going to come back on Wednesday and have another day at it. So in the meantime, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Appreciate everything you do for us, everything you've done for us. And the reality of it is, remember this: profit is not a dirty word. We'll see you Wednesday.